Hey guys, this is Julie over here at Book of Hours. A couple things. I took down my Facebook page because I felt like it. I've done it before. I'll probably do it again, but I'll probably bring it back up like after the holidays or whatever. So we have this administrative page that we use to manage our Book of Hours page, and so sometimes I use that if I want to say something live on our Book of Hours Facebook page. Okay, which I do. I want to say something today. So I'm in downtown Pittsburgh today. It's Tuesday, 2 days before Thanksgiving holiday, and I'm in downtown Pittsburgh, and there's a couple of things that I want to say. First of all, I had to go to the post office, and the post office is federally owned. It's a federal agency of the United States government. And what I felt was really interesting is that there's a sign on the post office door that says you must wear a mask. And yet when I went inside, the guy that was working behind the counter was not wearing a mask. So I have a feeling that the sign on the door is basically to appease, local, people, who really want to wear a mask. But because they are federal employees, they're not necessarily required to wear a mask. So I thought that was really interesting. There's like a little bit of a little bit of a double think going on with the post office right now. So there's a sign on the door that says that you have to wear a mask when you enter, and yet the employees don't have to wear a mask because they're federal employees. So that is something that, you want to think about. I feel like the sense of urgency in general out there in the community, if you will, I feel like the sense of urgency has been ramped up a bit. I know that James Corbett did a video this morning where he talked about, we have to defy everything, and we have to not comply to anything. And ultimately I agree with his message. I mean, it was a very, very short video. I don't, traditionally go to his channel. I have my own channel. I have my own work. I have my own philosophy about things. But one of the things that I really, that I wanted to impress upon people, and, some things that I've done today, as I'm, doing what I need to do, 2 days before Thanksgiving, is I've just been talking to people, like just randomly going up to people who are standing and waiting for the bus. I take public transportation. I don't own a car. I've been doing this, since I was, 18 years old when I moved out on my own. It's the idea of owning a vehicle is foreign to me. It's expensive. I can't afford it. So anyway, I talked to people on the bus, and one person that I talked to, I said, tell me what you think about this. And he had a really interesting response, okay? And he was wearing the mask, and he said, and I would be wearing my gloves too, but I forgot them, or they ripped or something, so I don't have them with me. But one thing he said was, I absolutely know that this is about, population reduction and population control, and that they're going after the elderly, and that they're going after, the minority classes and the marginalized communities. I totally agree with that. And I didn't even say anything. He just offered this information to me. All I said was, what do you think about what's going on? And this is what he offered. He's like, I think that it's a larger agenda. I think that there's, something else going on. But he also believes that it is a real virus. He believes that it's a real virus, but that it's not as bad as what we've been told or what we've been led to believe. So he continues to wear the mask and the gloves in order to, do the whole I keep you safe and you keep me safe and all that stuff. And, and I have to read the room and consider who he is and where he's coming from. We're talking about, he's already a marginalized person. He's a black guy. So, I have a feeling that a lot of people that are in marginalized sections of the population, which is an area of Pittsburgh that I live, I'm surrounded by poor people. I'm surrounded by people of color. I'm surrounded by people who have already been scapegoated and targeted and, harassed, and all this just for the color of their skin or just because of their economic situation. And so I have a feeling that a lot of these people are very woke. They're absolutely aware of what's going on, but they don't want to draw any attention to themselves. They're doing it out of safety to protect themselves from being targeted by the managerial class. And the managerial class are walking around all over, getting into their BMWs in downtown Pittsburgh, giving me the stink eye because I'm not wearing a mask. And those are the people that the marginalized communities are, leery of. They don't trust them. They're afraid of them. And, I'm surprised they talk to me because, I can live in both worlds and speak both, both languages, kind of, so to speak. So I was, I just want to, despite the fact that James Corbett's video was like, look, we all need to really stand up and defy these orders. That is true. But we also have to read the room, and that there are people who are not wearing a mask for a reason. They may be fully woke. They may be fully aware of what's going on, but they know that if they don't, they could very well be targeted by the managerial class. So you always want to punch up. You always want to punch up. It's the people that are running the systems and they're running this thing. It's those people that are causing all of the problems. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else that was really important. Yeah, I forgot. But I am in downtown Pittsburgh. I am talking to people in general. I'm just having casual, polite conversations. I'm not leading anybody into any, rabbit holes. I'm not imposing my opinions or my viewpoints on anyone. I'm basically just saying, what are your thoughts? What do you think? I asked the guy who runs a coffee shop, what do you think about this? And he's like, I don't know. I don't have time to think about this. I said, well, go to my YouTube page and maybe you'll learn something, or maybe you'll think it's just all, bullshit and you don't have to follow, So I think we just, I'm not saying that we should be compliant by any means, but I am saying that we should read the room. There are people who are, in these really marginalized positions where they are sort of at the mercy of the managerial class and they are at the mercy of the state. And it's really, it's really unfair for those people who aren't to try to impose their will on them. These people are woke. They know exactly what's going on. They've already been a victim of population control, and they've already been a victim of targeting and harassment for all sorts of reasons. And the last thing they want to do is bring more attention to themselves. So, one guy I talked to, I was like, well, do you have internet access? Do you have access to the internet? Can you maybe go on YouTube and look at our YouTube channel? And he's like, no, I don't know what the internet is. So there are people out there too. And these are the people I take the bus with. There are people out there too that literally, have no clue what's going on. They're just basically, following the orders of their caseworkers. Their caseworkers are saying there's a virus. You have to wear a mask. You have to sit by yourself. You can't talk to anybody. And that's what their caseworkers are telling them. And they don't have internet access. I talked to somebody today, like I said, he does not have internet access. He's like, I don't have the internet. I don't have a computer. I don't know what that is. I don't have that. I don't have the money for that. Like a 50-something-year-old man. So, we've really got to be fully aware that there's, a large section of the population that is being targeted right now. They're being targeted by the managerial class. They're being targeted by their caseworkers. They're being targeted by the government. And they're being targeted by, maybe inadvertently by people like me and you who are fully aware of what's going on, and we think we want to help them, but what we're really doing is we're scaring them. So we don't want to scare them. We want to, make them feel like everything's okay, but at the same time, we want to make sure that they understand that they have a choice. And when the choice is taken away, that's when you are in a dictatorship. That's when you have fascism, is when choice is taken away. And these people, the marginalized communities that don't have anyone to really speak or look out for them, they have lost their choice. They're being told what to do, and they're going to go first. And that's one thing that the black dude I was talking about, who was like all gloved up and wearing a mask, and he was like, oh yeah, this is totally about population control, and this is totally about killing the economy, and this is totally about the New World Order. And I totally get, I believe that it's not at all about this, virus, which could or could not be very real. But he's like, but I'm not going to bring attention to myself, so So there's whole sections of the population within these economic classes that are having their own discussions and their own issues, and I think we just need to be aware of that. It's easy for James Corbett in his, upper middle class, neighborhood in Japan with his, lofty income and his, 500,000 YouTube viewers to go and say, we have to defy this, and if you don't defy it, then you're a collaborationist. And I use that word a lot too, collaborationists. I would say the collaborationists are the people like the caseworkers and the people, who are writing the code to turn us all into digital slaves and things like that. Those are the collaborationists. But don't kick down and say that the people who don't even have computers and don't even know what's going on, don't call them collaborationists. They're not. So that's what I have to say. I'm out in the freezing cold in Pittsburgh taking care of some things. It's going to be Thanksgiving in a couple days, and JP and I are going to do a little meal for ourselves and maybe a friend, and just chill. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. I think that the idea of the common good language is really, really spiked. It's really amped up. I don't know if you saw our post here on our Book of Hours YouTube page, but a local KDKA, which is a news station, a CBS affiliate here in Pittsburgh, he was out taking pictures of people on public transportation who couldn't wear a mask. And he was shaming them, and then he was taking their pictures, what bus they were on, and what bus number it was. So he was giving out all of this private information to the Port Authority, which is insane. I mean, that's a total abuse of power. He should be fired. He should be fired immediately, and he should have charges brought up against him. That's an abuse of power. So, because he's a member of the press. Right? So, the amount of things that people are getting away with. And so this common good public shaming stuff, if you don't nip it in the bud now, that's the thing that we really need to focus on. That's the thing that we really need to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. I guess that's the other thing I want to say, is that this, common good, public shaming, public flogging, taking pictures of people without their consent or permission, sharing them all over the internet, sending those pictures over to, authority figures who are then turning around and saying, thank you for giving us this information. We will notify the proper authorities. It's like, what? It isn't even a law. These people are simply riding the bus to get themselves to work, and they can't wear a mask, and you're taking pictures of them without their permission, sneakily taking a picture of them. I had a picture taken of me once, and a lady called me an asshole. She called me an asshole because I can't wear a mask, because I can't wear a mask. And, in case I haven't made this point abundantly clear over the last 8 or 9 months, we are not one size fits all. Not every human being is made exactly the same. So to try to throw a muzzle on each and every one of us, some people will adapt really well to it. I know some people who are like, "Ooh, this is nice. I love it. Ooh, I love it. Ooh, this is so nice. I love it." And other people are like, no, this thing is going to kill me. This thing is going to, obstruct my airwaves. It's going to obstruct my oxygen flow. I have asthma, or I have an autoimmune illness, or I have some bone deficiency, whatever the issue is, it doesn't matter. But this is actually going to do me more harm. And they're not responding well to the mask. So no human being is one size fits all. So this idea that you would force someone to be a one size fits all human being, that's a sign of tyranny. That's a sign of fascism. That's medical fascism. That's biofascism. So, and that's something that we just keep continually saying over and over again on this platform anyway. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that as much as I really enjoyed James Corbett's video where he was like, look, we all have to fight this tyranny and defy these, bullshit orders. They're actually not law and all this stuff. That is true, but there is a whole subsection of society. There is a whole, class of society that they are fully aware that this is about population control. They are fully aware that this is about economic deprivation and all that, and they are fully aware that this is like World War III. And they are fully aware that they are the ones that will be targeted and attacked first. So they're just trying to stay under the radar for as long as they can and survive. And this is how they do it. They do it by conforming. And that's really unfortunate. And they need to feel empowered and not afraid. And I'm not sure who in their lives is empowering them. And that's the part there's a hole there that needs to be filled. Their caseworkers are not empowering them. Their caseworkers are disempowering them. So there's a hole there that needs to be filled. These people who are living on food stamps and living in the system that is hurting them need to feel empowered. They need to feel empowered, and right now they don't. And that was my takeaway from my walk around today in Pittsburgh. All right, so thank you for listening. It's cold, so I'm talking really fast, and I'm gonna go now. Everybody, if we don't go live again on Facebook in the next couple of days, I hope everybody, salvages Thanksgiving and tries to have a good Thanksgiving as much as they can. All right, thanks guys, bye.